We're standing here on top of the mountain in Canada in front of the new Evoque. Tell me about the engine.
This engine is a 4-litre turbocharged engine. We call it the SI4. It's got 240 brake horsepower and it's got a very nice long flat torque curve. So all the way up from idle up to maximum RPM, there's a lot of torque available.
I notice it's transversely mounted.
That's correct, yep. It's an east-west engine with a power takeoff and then a drive line which has an electronic center coupling to provide the four-wheel drive.
And people are going to be curious, is this co-developed with Ford? Is this kind of a sister engine to the EcoBoost?
It is a sister engine, but it's been heavily modified for the Range Rover application, so we have more power out of the engine.
It's certainly a unique design. It reminds me of a coupe or coupe, as you would say. What was the thinking when they designed this car?
Well, the coupe was the first concept, and the LRX concept, which was shown a few years ago, was the 3-door and had a very rakish, sporting roofline. And so this is the model that follows that concept most closely. And then we produced a 5-door off the back of that for a bit more practicality, and that was a slightly more headroom at the back, slightly less rakish tilt to the roofline.
It's one of these cars that has a much bigger stance than it is. It's really not a very big car.
No, absolutely. It's fairly small when you compare it to the competition and even to other Range Rover products. It is very small, but with incredibly clever packaging, we've managed to lower the roofline, increase the wading and the ground clearance, and still maintain a good command driving position. So it's all very clever packaging where the components have gone to allow us to achieve that.
Now I noticed that the car does have paddle shifters.
Absolutely, yep. So it's an auto transmission. You can either stick it in D for drive and it'll do its thing, or if you want to take control, you can use the up and down shifts for increased response and better driver interaction.
And let's talk about your expertise. You worked on the terrain response. Tell me about that. What does it have and how does it work?
Okay, so you get 4 programs with terrain response on a standard vehicle. So we have a standard program for general highway driving, a grass, gravel, snow program for when it's really slippy, a mud and ruts program for severe off-road and mud plugging, and then a sand program for deep soft sand. There's 2 suspension types on the Evoque, so you can have a standard passive suspension, or you can have adaptive dynamics, which has got a Magnaride damper system. And if you pick that, you get a 5th terrain response program, which is dynamic, and that gives you a sportier feel to both steering and the suspension.
It's got a lot more room than most people would think. Why is that?
Clever packaging. Again, in the 3-door and the 5-door, we've got a fairly generous boot. There's lots of rear occupancy space, and as I mentioned before, that's all to do with where we've put the key components and lowered the roof line, but still kept the ground clearance that we need for a Range Rover.
And for America, you've got 20-inch wheels.
We have got 20-inch wheels, yes. You can also get 19s too, but 20-inch wheels, absolutely. It's a Range Rover, and people buy Range Rovers because they want to be able to know that they can drive everywhere. Even if they never do, I would keenly encourage owners to drive off-road and push this car to see what it can do, because it's incredibly capable.
So let's recap. The car is sexy, it's good off-road, it's fun on-road. There's got to be something wrong with it, and perhaps there is a ding in this car's armor, and that is its price. It can cost up to $58,000 when it's all optioned out, which is a lot for a small 3-door coupe. Roman Micah, as always, reporting for the Fast Lane Car. See you next time.